Dames, dolls, secrets to detect. It's the name you trust, the doll detective.
Some case files come in light. A lipstick smudge, a strand of hair, maybe a heel left behind in the alley. But tonight's file? Let's just say it's packing more than evidence. Our guest goes by Omen Bunny, an amateur porn star with a rabbit hole that runs deep. He's racked up views on Pornhub like a dame racks up drinks at a sailor's bar. And when he talks, it's less a whisper and more a full-blown climax of information. The kind you feel in your bones, and maybe a few other places too. He's a creator who stages scenes with dolls that'll make you look twice. Half art, half sin, all imagination. Every video's a story, every pose a punchline, every climax a confession. Creative, unfiltered, and just a little dangerous, Omen's the type who dumps information the way other folks pour drinks. Heavy, fast, and likely to leave you dizzy. The bulb's burning low, the tension's high, and if this room had a safe word, we'd be using it. Welcome to the Interrogation Room, Case File, Omen Bunny.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Every case starts with temptation, Bunny. A shadow in the alley, a curve in the dark. What was it that first drew you to bring dolls into your adult scenes? Was it the look, the feel, or the way they bend to every position without ever saying no?
First time I actually started to film with the toys was very interesting to me because I've had sex with women, and it is different. It is very different. I talk to many different people every day that have questions like, is it like a real woman? Is it like, is it anything close? Should I have one of these first? And it's so interesting because it's so close to like human anatomy. Back in the day, you had like blow up dolls and you had a bunch of different, the whole sponge meme in a, what is it called? I wouldn't know. I haven't made one, but like, there's so many makeshift things that people just did. And now things are borderline real. And for me, I thought, well, if things are so close to being real, if I do this and I can make people view it as art, is that even possible? I really believed I could do that. I believed I could make something that looks artistic. I believed that I could make something that someone resonated with and was like, oh, that was emotional. That was cool. That was artistic. And that's really my expectations going into it is I wanted to make art in a medium that I felt wasn't there, at least in the way that I had it in my head. Because I've tried to find things that, the same thing if you like listen to music, you're like, oh, I'm so angry. I want to listen to angry music. But you can't find that angry band. I wanted to be like that angry band. I wanted to be that itch that gets scratched. And I think over experimenting, I think I'm getting there. And it's cool. And I really enjoy the people that give advice and the people that they feel connected to me. And really the way that I felt with dolls, because I've talked to people, they say that they have a relationship. They say they love their toys and dolls. And I respect that, For me, I just view the dolls and the toys as, like a tool. It's something that I respect because it is art. It's a craftsmanship, like to be able to make something like that. It's incredible. It is really art and I respect it. So to be able to transfer that to, online and videos, I also felt that there's a potential of shifting the mainstream audience because you have different organizations and people that don't watch humans. There's some people that watch cartoons and everything. And I really felt this was interesting. I love how interesting the idea is. Like, is there a point online where everything we watch isn't even human? It's just AI, which it's so crazy to me. And I really wanted to try and be creative. And I feel like I'm able to do that. And I think that this sort of thing enables me to have ideas that I can interact. And I enjoy how much it depends on you to be creative. Because if you're a solo and you're using a doll and you're using toys, it's really on you. And I love how there wasn't any expression yet. And I really hope that expression continues to happen, because we all have animalistic wants and we, pound the hammer on the table kind of a thing. But I thought, what if you just slow down and try to make something intimate? And I really just wanted to create something intimate. And it's been quite a ride so far.
Most guests tell me dolls are lovers or trophies on the shelf. Bunny? He calls them tools, and not the kind you find in a toolbox. For him, they're the instruments of intimacy, the props of pleasure. Cold, maybe. But when the lights dim and the camera rolls, those tools get worked harder than a detective on overtime. So tell me, Bunny, when you're picking out a doll, what gets your motor running? Big eyes, soft thighs, or a mouth that never argues?
When it comes to having things be tailored to me and how I use them, it's really a large majority is how well will it translate on camera. Because I have had products and toys that were more so personal use, like very small, very discreet, and they feel good, obviously. But the biggest thing with me deciding what would be filmed well is what looks the most interesting, what looks the most appealing. And when it comes to how it looks, it's not always directly how it feels, because I've gotten products that looked great and I thought, wow, this looks very realistic. This feels nice. This feels of quality. This feels great. And then beginning to use them, you start to see the little bits of different pieces, really, because every product does feel different. I've received the same product twice in a row and it felt different. For me, it's really difficult to pick just on sight, because if you're picking on sight, you really only see your preferences, like hair color, breast size, petite, lightweight, heavy. I've seen dolls that were like blue, green, yellow, and those are the ones that I want because I think they're that's cool, that's interesting. I want to make interesting things. I've never paid for a product ever, like a toy or doll or anything. I work with companies. It's really kind of a goofy relationship because they decide what I get. Or if I have a preference, they'll say between this one or this one. And my response is always, okay, well, what have I had thus far? And what would the audience enjoy more? I look for interesting, I look for new, I look for diverse, and I look for how best could I find something that would be entertaining to watch. Because for me, filming, it's for the audience. So if you were to ask personal use, I got 30 years with my left hand and right hand, so they're pretty well equipped. They never have let me down. But toys, like handheld, if it's personal time, it's just because it's so much work to set up a big doll or even a medium-sized torso or small. They are a lot of work, and you have to clean them. You have aftercare, and there's a lot of pieces that go into cleaning them. Because if you have sex with a person, you don't have to then hoist them up over your shoulder, bring them to the sink, clean them, baby powder them up, and then put a drying stick in and then put them in the closet. Otherwise, your first name is Dexter. But there's a lot of care. And I think when it comes to the way it's viewed online is buy a toy, enjoy it, use it, there you go, have fun. But there's a responsibility aspect to that still. You still have to take care of it. You still can't put ketchup in it. You can't eat off of it. There's a lot of things you got to pay attention to. And for me, on camera, I just want the most appealing thing. It's very interesting to see how companies view products because more often than not, you have a small butt one, and then a larger, and then torso, some legs, some arms, and heads. And the way that companies are going now, it's bigger and bigger and bigger, and heads and ROS heads and detailed faces, which just, I'm not even kidding. Just today, I got 2 dolls sent to me today that I didn't pay for that I have to film with. And when I first started out, I only got like the handheld stuff. And as things build and as people are introduced to even the small stuff, they get into the big stuff, which makes sense. You get something small and you upgrade and you upgrade. But for me, it's really, I just want to make enjoyable content. What my audience enjoys the most is the role play, intimate, realistic stuff. Before it was torsos and small stuff, which that tend to garner me a male and female ratio audience because it was less toy, less female things. As I've used larger toys, it's been a predominantly female audience. And so at this point in my career, it's larger toys that look realistic with faces and something that can look even more intimate. I think my favorite doll, if I were to pick, which I think would be my first one, which would be a Iravenus Yuki. And I actually tattooed that one, which I thought that would be cool. I tattooed it. I put piercings on it. I did her nipples. I did her belly button. And in terms of customization, I used to paint her with like finger paint and make her look like kind of Navajo tribe, like cool stuff. And I enjoyed that. But I haven't customized anything else because they come equipped. And for my personal needs, I guess I'm just easy.
Most suspects pick dolls for their own desires. Bunny? He's learned that the bigger bodies bring more eyes. Yuki keeps him satisfied, but it's the taller, fuller figures that get the women tuning in after hours. Every act looks one way under the spotlight and another when the curtains close. So tell me, Bunny, what's the experience like when you're rolling tape for your adult content, compared to when it's just you and the doll off camera? Is it performance, intimacy, or something in between?
In regards to the way that I feel about it, on camera, like it's definitely a tailoring. It's definitely I try to give the idea that the toy or doll is an audience member or that it's you kind of vibe. And I do feel that there are moments where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm doing something nice. I feel like I'm doing something good. Because my experience with pornography growing up, I was like, oh God, that'd be great. I can't imagine me being with someone hot or attractive, sort of a thing. And if people are watching me, I'm hoping it's a similar kind of thing. So I really try to respect people's investment in me, and I try to respect people's time. And if you're watching me and you enjoy me and you get something out of it, that makes me feel good, and it makes me feel happy that I can provide some kind of service or care for people, like it just in a mass form. So on camera, I feel very appreciated, and I feel a level of respect, and that it's sort of ceremony for me now on camera. And I do take care of all the dolls. I baby powder to get hair off. I clean them. I have a aftercare spray so the skin stays nice and firm and everything is great. And on camera, I respect it. I don't beat them up when I have a bad day. If I come home from work or the grocery store and I got cut off, I don't just slam a head into the door. I don't do anything with them. I don't beat them. I mean, I've thought about it. There's been days where I've gotten a package and I got like bad news. I'm like, oh, I could just like kick this and it's not a person. It's fine. I have smacked them a couple times, but that was for like a request. And I did actually, the Yuki doll, I punched in the ass because I thought funny, punch it in the ass, and it dented. And I was like, oh, fuck. So then for like 9 videos after, it had to be from a very specific angle because it just looked like her butt melted. It looked like she was made out of wax, but I had to hide it. And it definitely at first was scary. I was like, oh God, there's all these toys coming to me. There's all these large dolls If I get raided, I'm going to look like a serial killer. I gotta hide these. And so getting storage for them helped me be more calm, and it was less scary to see them. It's in my closet. It looks like I'm selling people, but I'm not. It's a very dark closet. All their wigs are off. It looks like a camp, but it's something that I've gotten used to. And I respect them because they're art and they cost a lot of money to make. And people have a relationship with them. I get messages where they're like, I love Kelly. That's my favorite doll you use. She looks like me. So I try to treat them like a person, minus feeding them or, taking care of them. They live in a closet. But it's very much what you see on camera is the same level of care off camera. Off camera, they stay in their closet, hooked up to a radiator, and they just, they exist until they are called for. They're kind of like the Avengers, but some of them don't have arms, so they're useless. But it's pretty much a 1-for-1 that you see.
He admits it flat. Punched Yuki in the ass, left a dent, then locked her up in the closet like evidence that didn't make the case. No love letters, no romance, just a working girl stored between coats. Every doll's got a trick. Soft skin, dangerous curves, joints that bend just right. Which models or features, Bunny, hit you hardest? The kind that make the camera sweat as much as you do.
I think the most interesting or cool things for me that I've experienced recently is definitely the heads. But like torso wise, I love when there's like the hip dips. I love when there's the navel. I love like prominent features like that because it's nice. But I feel like a lot of companies do butts wrong. I feel like they're too big or they're too wide and they don't feel right. And the legs, you have to really like arm wrestle Lou Ferrigno to get it in place. And if you're thinking about Lou Ferrigno and you're trying to masturbate, depending on who you are, it might help, but then you don't need the doll. But it gets tricky because if you want, let's say, doggy style and the torso you like a lot aesthetically, you have to move the legs in. But moving the legs in is kind of like helping your dad with the car. You don't know if you're doing it right. You might get a fucking splinter and you can get it there. But by that point you're tired and you're like, okay, time to fuck. And you can do that. You can set it up and have fun. But you also have to take into account athleticism. If you're someone that's like, I want to finish right now. That's how I say it. But now you're like, okay, let me get this jack lift from the closet quick, put it on the bed, do like the Hellraiser puzzle, turn it into like an origami figure. And you're like, okay, they're gone. I can do it. And you get in a position and you're like, oh, it's not quite right. So it's really hard because there's things that look aesthetically nice, but then in formation, it's kind of just Blade Runner and you're surviving and you're like, oh, I just need my fix. I gotta do it. And for me, I'm someone because I have to give two different answers. If I wasn't someone that records with dolls and toys almost daily, basically weekly, I make like 5 videos a week, I would say that my favorite would be probably just Yuki by Era Venus because the waist is super small, the boobs are just right, just firm enough, and it's simple, it's lightweight, you can carry it. It's nice. It's kind of like that skeleton guy in the back of Hellboy. Like it's very convenient. And the legs move super easy, and that's awesome. But I've had toys and dolls where the legs are an absolute nightmare and they suck and they get locked in place. It's a very uncomfortable thing when you're in your living room with a hammer and you're like trying to get this thigh back in place. And like, God forbid the guy with pizza shows up or looks through the mirror right now. This would be insane. Or the window. That'd be funny. But it's complicated because it depends on who you are as a person. Because if I'm masturbating, it's quiet. I light a candle. I put photos down. There's nothing going on. All the lights are off. It's calm because filming, lights are on. You have to get the angle right. You have an idea. It has to be a certain amount of time. It has to be this long. It has to, you have to do so many things. So for me, personal time, it just is quiet. and just nothing going on. It could be casual and nothing's happening. And that's nice. But if I wasn't someone that filmed, I would definitely probably just go with the Yuki for convenience. But if, let's say, I was trying to role play sex or try to be realistic with sex, which that would probably be the newest toy that came in, which I believe, company, actually, no, go to my channel. You'll find out. It's the only big one. But yeah, it's just mood wise. It's really tricky because I've definitely had ones where I'm like, that was good. That was good. I can see that being good for this. There's not one shoe fits all because I've definitely felt like this would have been better for this position because the torso dolls that have thighs that move are better for missionary because you can move them out and you can land them. The ones that don't have movable legs are better for doggy style because they're locked in place because they're flat on the bottom. So that's easy. They don't move. Not as good for missionary because you have these two, tree stumps, the Toad and the Frog are chilling on. It's kind of uncanny for me. It's a slab of meat. So for me, it's really tricky because I've had, I think, total 20 torsos, torso doll products, and I've just thrown them out. And I know that sounds like sacrilegious to like throw a woman in the trash 2025, but they're not real. I throw them out and the trek to the garbage can is frightening. I really hope a cop doesn't stop me. I hope that, a long lost girlfriend's like, hey, I love you. And I'm here to throw out your trash as a gesture. And I go, get the fuck away from me. Like the horrifying moment, but I have to because they're so large and there's so many. And it's been very easy for me to decide what gets thrown out because of utility. I go, filming, this doesn't make sense. Personal use, this is nice, don't need it. So personal use, the only one I've kept for me is, I believe it's like a Goya vibrating toy, which is like maybe 9 inches tall and it vibrates and it's very soft and it's easy to clean. It's very, very casual, very chill. So as casual as it can be, that's personal use. But yeah, that would probably be my favorite personal. But on camera, I think Yuki was the best on camera because I tattooed it, I pierced it. It was cool. She was a good first thing to film because she was so interesting to look at.
Dolls are work, Bunny says. Heavy curves, stiff joints, too much sweat for one man. That's why Yuki still shines, light enough to handle, convenient as a quick fix. But left alone, he confesses a softer spot for a little toy that vibrates in all the right places. And yet, somehow Yuki always finds her way back into the story. A dent in the ass, maybe, but also a dent in his heart. Over 6 million views on the hub. That's no accident, Bunny. That's demand. How do you prep for a shoot like that? What's the ritual? Oil, angles, a whispered word to Yuki before the lens goes live?
Whenever I get a new product, whether it's a large doll or small or anything like that, I always do a base test, which it's not me smacking my base into it. I take a sheet of white paper and I put it right next to it. I have my light. I have a little overhead light. It has cool, hot, and like medium salsa all over it. And I have to clean it soon. But it has different gradations of light source, like, light, hot, cool. And I'll have it placed flat on a chair and I'll just move the light around it to see what kind of light looks good with it. And I'll see with the sheet of paper how that shadow is casted onto the surface it's on and how much different it really is from its actual skin tone. Because I have different colors in the house. Like I have black, you have a bunch of furniture and pillows and things. So it's always important to get like a baseline. Like what kind of light is a cool light best for this thing? And so first I decide when I open it up and I unpackage it and I cut it open and I free it and it's like, oh, you're safe. You're not in China anymore. Now you're in my house, in my closet. It's attached to a radiator. I make sure that the light source is good. I'm like, this one is more olivey skin this needs like a little bit of a whiter light, or this one's darker. This one needs, like, if I want a certain ambery feel, I can do the warmer light. And so I decide that. I'm like, okay, good. I like this light with this one. And then I go, what's its most flattering angle? Like, what's like the best way if I were to show it to someone or take a photo? What would convince you to buy it? What would make you feel, ooh, that's sexy? If you look at really anything, like even product shots of iPhones or product shots of lingerie or really anything, look at the lighting and you're like, why is the lighting more focused on the top left? And you go, well, there's like that chrome piece that gives it a good illumination, and then it leaves all the smaller details to be like very soft and it looks cool. And I just try to make it look cool in my eyes first. I'm like, okay, what kind of lighting, what kind of angle? If I have the breasts here and I have the lights directly in front of the breasts facing up, that casts a cool cascading shadow where it looks very contrast. Like, I love Mike Mignola. I love Todd McFarlane. I love how contrasted their light sources are. I love their color work. I love how creative it is and how vibey it is. It's really cool. And I try to do a similar thing and make it look awesome. I just try to make stuff look cool. And then I have my phone set up because I record everything on my phone. I put my phone on a stand and then I have it there. I hit record and then I just change the ISO, which I believe it's called, like the light source of how dark the blacks get or the highlights are. And I just play with it. I see what looks interesting, what looks cool. And then I think, okay, if I'm in there, my lighting will be very similar. But after that, I go, okay. And then I'll walk up as I'm still recording and just kind of move it around. And I'm like, all right, left, right, up, down, and just see where shadows hit it. And then if the toy is like the main focal point of the video, like if I'm trying to make the video more for men to see so that they can buy a product like the doll, I'll wear a black shirt because otherwise I stand out way too much. But if it's videos for like women that I think is more women centered, like kind of a role play or just I'm like more of the piece of it and then the toy is kind of secondary, I'll wear a white shirt because the shadows cascade over my big, huge, giant muscles that are huge, absolutely gigantic, enormous, probably the biggest in the world. And that gives that extra bit of style. But if I'm trying to make a video where it looks real and a guy would buy this product because it looks real, I wear black because I go back into the shadows. And the pieces of me, I imagine most good dudes have, probably not nearly that small, but they get to imagine themselves more opposed to just some dude standing there. And so it's just playing with light and just seeing how it works. And then I'll usually have like a pre-session before filming like an actual logistical trying to make a good video is I'll just use the toy. But I'll have my phone on a stand with different lights, different angles, and just kind of like goof around for like 30 minutes, give or take, and just futz with it. And that stuff goes on OnlyFans. Like those videos where I goof around with lighting and just try to play with it, that goes to there. But that's the best way you can see what lighting you like is just goof around. I get comments all the time like, how do I get cool lighting? Dude, just try it. Just go try it. Same thing as making like lasagna. You don't know how to make it? Go make it. Go try. It's going to be awful. That's okay. Just don't put chicken in there. If it's undercooked and bad, then you're fucking sick. Just make something that's like mediocre because then you could keep your mediocre thing as a reminder of like, oh yeah, that lighting sucks. I look like Gumby because I'm just standing there. And the biggest thing I've seen from researching of like how to be more entertaining or animated on camera or be more present is like always keep your hands busy. That's a thing I like recently learned. It's like don't have a floating hand. If you have a floating hand, it's not doing anything. It looks like you're trying to mind control someone on the floor and it looks stupid. So it's just like keep your hands like on your side, keep your hands on your chest, keep your hands busy because otherwise it just looks like you're flying as Tony Stark and you're not that smart. So it's just playing. For me, it's playing, and I have a very stylistic approach about it. So it's just playing. I try to view it just the same thing as art. If I'm drawing, what do I want out of the drawing? What is its best possible chance of looking cool? That's really the approach I have. So if you're looking to make something new ever, play. Just have fun and then see what you like. Watch videos. It's 2025. There's insane tutorials on YouTube. There's so many free things you could do to learn. So never be afraid to try, never be afraid to learn. That's how I approach lighting and pre-filming and getting the shot. And in terms of like mentally, because that's all like the visual stuff. Mentally, my biggest thing is like I'm aware that the doll didn't call me and was like, "Come home, I want to have it." Like very promiscuous talking dolls. Like give it now. Like that doesn't happen. So I'm not aroused thinking about doing it because that person, one, is it going to have an orgasm, which doesn't really change anything I've ever had in my life anyways. But it's not going to give me foreplay. I have to to be honest, I have to do all the work. I don't know if anyone here knows, but I have to do all of it still.
Doing all the work, huh? Dolls don't complain, Bunny, but they sure don't pitch in on the heavy lifting either.
I have to be like, okay, you ready? I have to get consent. There's a whole sheet, but I set it up. I get the angles. I get, and you have to be motivated when you're doing that. You go, okay, I'm going to get blown. And then I guess I'll make myself dinner and then she'll lay in the bed. And it's a lot of work. So for me, what I will do when I film, and it's something that I've been doing, I'd say for most of the time. I think the first like 3 videos, I tried just to go full Hail Mary and be like, I'm going to fuck this thing. I just have pornography on in the background. And I have like whatever videos I like. I have compilations. I have a playlist. I have whatever. And it's on like my iPad on a stand off camera, just so I can watch it and just get excited for that kind of thing. And just try to like enjoy that while filming, and not for like to stay erect, because it does do most of the work for me, but to help keep me motivated, to help me not be selfish. Because I could just finish in like flat 2 seconds. But if I have a video on, it's in the background, I can just kind of reference it. And there's been times where I've been filming and I'm like, what do I do now? And I'm watching a video. I'm like, oh, that position. I'll try to make her do this kind of position, and I'll do that. I've had times where I try to reenact videos even of the same and like in order. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're getting inspiration and you're trying your own spin on it, which is great because it's right there. The work is right there for you to reference. It's the same thing as like anything else art-wise. If you see it, you can make it, kind of a thing. And that's really just my motivation of having that on and just reminding me, okay, I'm kind of part of this now. I have people that watch me, and mentally I get there by watching the ladies I enjoy the most. So that's really kind of the whole mental scope of it. And then cleaning it and aftercare. It's a lot of, for me, it's a lot of effort constantly, because I have to get set up. I have to get aroused. I have to blow myself. I have to do all the work and then clean up and then pat myself on the back, edit, upload, get told my wiener small. And that's my life. And it's a whole cycle, but it's knowing that at this point, I think I've made the most content on the hub and otherwise doll orientated of a singular channel that I've seen thus far. I think I only spent like 3 minutes looking with like one eye covered, but that's my whole scope on filming and knowing that someone will enjoy what I'm making. So it makes me more motivated to do well. There's a lot of different pieces to it.
Bunny lays it out like a pro. Lights first, always. Test shots, shadows, playing around until the frame feels alive. His own words, never be afraid to try, never be afraid to learn. Advice you don't hear in every back alley, but it sticks. He doesn't just wing it, he plans, mentally sketching out the scene, even using porn off camera to keep his focus sharp when the lens goes red. But here's the kicker. With dolls, there's no partner to carry the weight. Every move, every angle, every grind of the scene, it's on him. Bunny laughs it off, but you can tell. In the interrogation room, he knows the truth. With dolls, he's not just the director. He's the whole damn cast and crew. Every suspect's got a story that lingers, a moment they can't hide from the file. So what about you, Bunny? Any intimate moments with your dolls that still echo after the lights go out?
There's a lot of random moments where I've tripped on one, and because I have a closet full of them, but I distinctly remember cleaning. I think it was Yuki. No, it wasn't Yuki. It was the one after that. I don't remember the name because the doll names I think are just ridiculous. I think it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Her name was Shapiphany or something. And I was cleaning her off and I was in the areas to clean that I used. And I was cleaning it. I'm like, it's kind of like a wholesome moment. I'm cleaning it. That's kind of nice. And I went, what the fuck am I thinking? What do you mean it's kind of wholesome? But I felt like I was taking care of it because I am. And I was like, oh, I'm cleaning it. That's nice. Because I take pride in me cleaning myself, not my vagina, but I brush my teeth, I floss, I water pick, and I respect aftercare and I respect cleaning and I respect hygiene. And I think I take pride in how well I clean the dolls and keep up the hygiene and make sure everything is nice. Like brushing the hair, tying it up, making sure they're sprayed clean, making sure dry sticks, everything is nice, organized, neat, and clean. They're not too cluttered in the closet. Nobody's bumping elbows. Everyone has enough room. And I really just take pride in that. And so there's times where I've tripped on one a little bit and I'd be like, oh shit, sorry. But I'm like, it's not going to yell at me even if I hit it. So I think a lot of the moments have been really heads popping off. Like today, I had a film for, I think, 30 minutes and whittled down to 2 videos, give or take. But the doll's head I thought was on, but it wasn't. So it was doing its thing. It was performing that ritualistic thing. I was checking her temperature and her body just fell off. And so I was holding her head midair. I was like, oh, oops. And her body crashed into the fucking light because she's dramatic. And then the light hit me in the head today. And I was like, oh, shit. But I was like, oh, is that all right? But I looked down at it. It was fine. But I was like, oh, shit. I take pride in taking care of them. But I don't have that emotional attachment. But I very much have funny instances back and forth with some of them. I remember the Yuki distinctly would just eat shit and fall on me. I would be setting her up. I'm like, cool, legs are boom, done. I would turn my back and she would Jeff Hardy swanton bomb onto my ankles. And I'd be like, great, I broke my ankles. And she would just fucking tumble all the time. I don't know why, but she would just fall like an idiot. And then Kelly, which is the bigger one, her legs are gigantic and long and huge. She has an act for her eyes just crossing. So I'll be setting her up for something. And then I'm like, okay, make sure the hair is good. Okay, I got her here. She's wearing this. And I'll move her head. And she's just cross-eyed. And I know for a fact they were straight before. And I'm like, either she's haunted by a ghost that's really funny and just making this thing cross-eyed to fuck with me, or her head's just kind of loose or something. So her eyes always went crossed randomly. It would be the funniest jump scare in the entire world in a horror movie. But other than that, it's just slippery, picking them up and they shake like Jello. Another company sent me something 3 weeks ago. I went to pick it up by the ass and I'll send you this photo, and both my handfuls ripped holes into the butt cheeks. And I went, okay, well, I lost a friend today, I guess. And it's just a never ending thing of funny little moments. And it's definitely the crossing of the eyes that happens all the time is probably my favorite thing because it continues to happen. And I can't really glue them in there because that would just be a a hateful thing. And she hasn't done anything too horrible to me yet, besides jump scaring me in the middle of the night. Because I have set up with her. Actually, that's my favorite moment. I remember I set up with her for the first time for a video. I had her sitting on a chair in the room. I clean her up. I'm like, okay, you're staying here. I got to go do something. Don't steal anything. Don't smoke in the house. I go shower and I just forget about it. And then I go to bed. I wake up the next day and I walk past the room and I go, what the? Like, I genuinely thought there was like a legless, armless woman in my apartment. And I go, oh, that's just, oh, all right. And I look, eyes are crossed. I was like, you know what? Fuck this toy business. Fuck all. I don't want to do any of this anymore. And that's probably my favorite moment. I was horrified.
Haunted or not, Kelly's eyes don't lie. And in this line of work, sometimes the scariest part is what stares back at you in the dark. Horrified, sure. But around here, horror and pleasure share the same bed. One minute it's Yuki falling into your arms. The next it's Kelly going cross-eyed like she's seen heaven or hell. They say the audience always leaves clues, Bunny. With all the doll porn you've put out there, what have you picked up about this community? Any surprises hiding between the sheets?
Community is like, it's very interesting because you definitely have purists that are very much like, I only watch this or I only watch this, which I get, which is fine. And I feel like as I've been making content, it's hit different marks because very small toys hit more the entertainer. If it's a guy or a girl, doesn't matter what toys they're using. If they're small, chances are they're just focused on the sex of the creator, whether that be male or female. And I feel that I really started to find that audience that is into dolls and more expensive accessories to dolls and torsos and things like that when I think it was Kelly, actually. So like pretty recently. And I feel like a lot of them like faces and heads, which is very personable and very intimate. So with that sort of intimate exchange of finding the audience after faces started to get involved, because I wear a mask, it really started to romanticize my content more. Because everyone has a butt, everyone has, sorry for the one person that doesn't have a butt listening, but there's definitely a large variety of people. There are people that view my content and message me and they're like, I love you. Where do you live? And I would happily birth your children and things like that, which I appreciate. That's awesome. So I don't have to birth my kids. That's awesome. I appreciate you offering. And then there's the audience that are like the enthusiasts that are like, oh, I love dolls. What's your favorite doll? What kind of doll do you doll with? And those people are sometimes hard to give good answers to because I use dolls as a tool and a guest, almost like a co-star. So my intimate relationship with those is just not existent. So for them, I could just answer, yeah, they feel good. They look good. It's cool. This, I think, is better than this one. But a lot of the times, the enthusiasts are like, well, are they good to cuddle with? Are they good to take a bath with? Could you take it out to dinner? Which are much more personal questions that I can't really answer. But those people are for the most part very polite. And then you have the people that are like, I don't care if it's a doll or a cantaloupe. I love what you're doing. That's cool. But there are people that will say, I love your stuff. It's great. I go, thank you. And they go, can you put all your hands in me? And I go, I can't. And they go, well, then burn in hell. So it's really tricky because there's so many subdivisions of anything. I really just respect the diversity, but I feel like no matter what, there's bad apples. No matter what, there's going to be not awesome people. But the people that I've talked to the most about dolls, I've had normal conversations like, has the paint come off? Has the joints gotten loose? Is this worth the money? Because the weight is usually dependent on like the position it's best for. What do you think of this? And very normal adult casual conversations about products and dolls. I would say the large majority is like, I want to be the doll. Let me be the doll. How can I be doll? Doll, doll, doll. Which I get it. You wish you lived in a closet, I guess, and tied to a radiator. But, you have a perfectly good radiator at your grandma's house. I don't have a radiator in my apartment really anymore, except for the closet. And I really have tried to pander to everybody and be kind to everybody and give everyone equal opportunity to talk and me be patient with them. But some people don't even want that. They just want either acknowledgement, affirmation, or my skin. And I got to emphasize, I need my skin. So it's been interesting because I am a content creator that uses dolls, but I myself am not a doll enthusiast or personal doll user. So I fit this weird middle ground where socially I'm not really adept in that. Like colloquially speaking, I don't have really much social battery with dolls and toys because it's just not a part of my life. It's my career and what everyone knows me for. But generally speaking, I don't just like call my mom and be like, yeah, so like Vanessa got really jealous because she had doggy style. But then I explained to her, I'm like, you just don't have the anal hole. I tell the company to put a hole in you and then I can. Like I don't have that role play with them off camera at all. The toys and dolls are just a vessel for the community to enjoy. And I feel that my involvement in the community is a majority of it is very one-sided, which is okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with me being someone that makes stuff for people. They like it or they don't. And if they talk about me, cool. And if they find some sort of inspiration for their own content, then also cool. I've gotten messages from random people that either want to make content, have been making content, and they want to get better, or they have like suggestions like, hey, can you try this? I think that would be great. Sorry, my cat just like headbutted the mic. And it's interesting. It's really, really interesting because it's still an incredibly niche thing because I've been approached by content creators that do, one-on-one human stuff, which some people would call sex. And they're like, I want to collab with you. I want you over here. I want you to do this. And I have to say, yeah, I just kind of use these toys and dolls for videos. Like, this isn't my life. And it's a goofy thing to try to explain to someone when you have, I don't know, nearly 200 videos on Pornhub of you just slapping your meat against silicone and TPE. So people have an idea of you. And that's why I have YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. So I can show you, I'm like, yeah, I have to do that for money. But like, I love music. I love Warhammer. I love video games. Fortnite just came out with Power Rangers, and I'm so excited to play that. And I'm a dude. And it's really funny when people are like, oh, he's so hot. He's got tattoos. He probably rides a bike and smokes cigars and drinks alcohol. And no, I got fucking like grade A asthma, and I love herbal tea. And that's really my experience thus far with the community.
Bunny admits he's no doll enthusiast. He doesn't role play, doesn't dress them up, doesn't whisper sweet nothings. He leaves that to the true collectors and the role players in the alleys of the community. His thing? Shooting the niche, doll porn, plain and simple. He listens to fans, takes their suggestions, and spins them into scenes. He might not worship the dolls, but he respects the people who do. And when the lights are off, when the case file's closed, Bunny doesn't pour a drink or light a cigarette. He brews a cup of herbal tea, calm, quiet, a strange contrast to the storm he puts on camera. In the end, maybe that's his balance. Chaos in the lens, peace in the cup. Every case starts with a rookie mistake. Wrong angle, bad lighting, dent in the wrong place. Bunny, what would you tell the noobs so they don't blow their cover right out of the gate?
I think if you're looking to purchase a doll, look at what you're craving. Because, like, there's people that are like, oh, my girlfriend doesn't do anal, my wife doesn't do anal, my husband doesn't do anal. Sorry. And you have that need and want. That's why you're buying something. So if you buy a doll and you're like, I want to do doggy style, buy a doll specifically designed for doggy style. And that's pretty straightforward. Have it on its tummy, you lay on top of it, and you just kind of experiment. And that's the same thing if you have sex for the first time anyways, or with someone new. Let's say you just have like your average torso doll and you have no idea. The first thing I would say is lay down a towel because it gets messy, it gets sticky, hair touches it, and it's a huge thing. So I would recommend lay it wherever you'd like to keep it on a towel and make sure it's well lubricated. Make sure you check all the passages. You can put a glove on if you're like eczema or if you're a clean freak, and make sure you get down to the base of it. And then from there, this is also assuming you cleaned it. So I would recommend you always clean. Use like a antibacterial soap to scrub it, make sure all surfaces are nice and clean. From there, you can put it on a towel while it's still wet. It can dry, but this is using. You'll honestly, it's like how well endowed you are, what kind of angle your compass rests, really, if you know what I mean. So it's really your comfort. So I would always say probably, honestly, just missionary on the bed. Your knees are right there. Depending on the leg situation, because it's really dependent on the doll's anatomy and your anatomy. If it's a doll that has thighs, like legs that move, I would say just have the legs be splayed out as if it's just, one long bar, and just play. So just kind of have it on its back, at least at first, and touch it and just feel it and just kind of get in the mood for it and just see how well you fit with it. Because there's been dolls where I've used and I'm like, oh, this anatomy is crazy because the thighs are so wide that I can't even get my hips in at like a great angle. And it's really a person-to-person experience on what you want from the doll and what you expect from it. So missionary, probably the best case, just so that you have more control, you're on top. Otherwise, if you start off sideways or doggy style, if you don't want to go in the butthole, that's a whole thing. And then you have to clean that. And it's really, you want to make sure your first time use, I would recommend just use one of the holes. It's easy. You're just kind of having fun, and keep it simple. Always make sure it's well lubed. The best lubrication form is water-based, and then make sure you get as far in as you can because you can have abrasions on your wiener. And you don't want that. And then it's less fun, which I've definitely had happen to me. So well lubed, you feel warmed up. It's on the bed. It's clean. And you just take your time. And you really just don't want to rush anything. You don't want to throw it haphazardly. You don't want to throw it silly-nilly because you could throw your back out. You could hurt something. You could drop it. It could cut itself. Listen to My Chemical Romance. A lot of things could happen. So just take your time. That's really what I recommend. And however you get to that destination for your first time use, that's what I would say. And then proper aftercare after.
Bunny lays it bare. Get the doll you want. Use her the way she was built. And for God's sake, don't skip the lube. Clean it. Respect the anatomy. Take your time, or you'll be filing a case with a sore back and a worn-out weapon. He's right. Comfort's the key, and every doll's a different experience. I'll back him up on the cleaning part, too. I run my own through the Coeros kit. Tools of the trade, keeping the evidence clean so the case doesn't go sideways. That's the case, folks. Omen Bunny, creator, porn star, and one hell of a suspect to have under the lamp. He dropped the kind of truths that don't just sit in the file. They stick with you after the lights go out. Bunny, thanks for stepping into the interrogation room. You made this case one to remember.
No problem. Anytime. You can get these pink fuzzy handcuffs off me now?
Careful, Bunny. Suspects don't usually get to choose when the cuffs come off.
Was a butt plug necessary?
I don't even own one.
Oh, I brought that.
Figures. Every suspect leaves something behind. Just didn't think it'd be that. Case closed.
Bunny set the stage, the camera's on. Yuki struck a pose, the night was long. But passion's a punchline, funny but true. He dented her backside, now she's black and blue.
Oh, Bunny punched Yuki in the ass, left a mark that's built to last. In the closet she waits like evidence stashed. Case closed, but the memory's a blast.
Most men buy roses, whisper sweet lies. Bunny stores his girl between coats and ties. Respect ain't his style, he jokes with a grin. But the dent in poor Yuki keeps pulling us in.
Oh, Bunny punched Yuki in the ass, left a mark that's built to last. In the closet she